Good morning, everybody. Today we're going to talk about the birth of democracy. Ancient Greece, unit number 6. To start with, we have to ask ourselves, what is democracy? According to the definition in the dictionary, democracy is a form of government in which the supreme power is vested in the people and exercised directly by them or by their elected agents under a free electoral system. If we take a look at this definition, all they are saying is that democracy is a form of government where by which the power is deposited. Vested is like deposited. It's in the hands of the people and is exercised directly by them or by the people that they elect, their representatives. And of course, we assume in a democracy that they elect the representative in a free election by vote. But what is the essence of democracy? Democracy is in essence people power. It comes from the Greek word demos, which means people, and kratos, which means rule. So it's ruled by the people. In a democracy, people elect representatives, people vote freely, there is respect and tolerance, there is equality, because we assume that we are all born equal and we should have the same rights. There is dialogue and communication. There is responsibility. Democracy is not only about rights, but it's also about duties and about responsibilities. There are rights, but what else is democracy? What is democracy for you? Let's take a minute to discuss around the class what we think democracy is. How was the idea of democracy born? The concept of democracy was born in Greece around 800 to 650 before Christ. In Greece, the city-state were ruled by aristocrats. Aristocrats were rich people. This is what they were called an oligarchy. The form of government ruled by the aristocrat people were called the oligarchy. That means the rule by the few. Then around 650 to 500, these people were not very happy with these oligarchies, with the aristocrats, with the rich people governing. So some of them decide to overthrow them and become the tyrant or the dictator. These were people that there was the rule of one people that was trying to govern the city, and by their own decision. They were probably be people who also have money, and they would decide, okay, I'm going to be the ruler of this city. They were called tyrants. One of the most famous was Draco. He had a lot of harsh, very severe law, and it's called the draconian law, because it was, even now we use that term. It's a very harsh type of rule of law. For example, even if you were caught as stealing, you could be sentenced to death. Then after that, we have the famous Solon, and he introduces a lot of reforms. He canceled, for example, the debt. He stopped debtors to become a slave, because it was usual that when they have too many debts, so they will become a slave. So he avoided that. And he introduced a new system of government by which he would give more power to the middle class, not only to the rich people. But really, democracy was introduced by Cleisthenes around 508 before Christ. The local organization by that time, when Cleisthenes was the ruler, he decided to split the people of Attica, that is Athens, it was called, into different groups for administrative purposes. Attica was divided into many small communities called demes. This one over here. There were a lot of small communities called demes. Then the demes were grouped into 30 larger groups called trites. 10 trites represented the city of Athens, 10 the countryside, and 10 the coastal area. So there were basically three types of trites: the one who represent Athens, the one who represent the countryside, and the one who represent the coastal area. Then these trites, after that, let's say, stage or level, we would have the trites were grouped into 10 tribes or phyli. This one over here. Each file was made up of 3 trites. One trite from the city, one from the country, and one from the coast. So they have a whole local organization going from the deme to the trites to the file. And that was a way to guarantee that they were all represented up to the higher level, which was in this case the file. But they have other democratic structures, not only the local structure that we were talking about just now. They have, for example, the assembly. Every citizen had the right to speak and to vote at the assembly, which met about once every 10 days on a hill that was called the Nix. At least 6,000 citizens had to be present for a meeting to take place. If too few people attended, special police were sent out to find more citizens. The assembly debated proposals which were put to it by the council. They could approve or change or reject the council's suggestions. But what was the council? The council was formed for 50 people. Okay, and these people, the council was made up by 500 citizens, 50 from each of the 10 Athenian tribes. Councillors were chosen annually by lot. Each tribal group took it in turn to lead the council, taking responsibility for the day-to-day running of the state. So they have the council, and then they have the assembly. The council was like a smaller size, only 500, but the assembly could have up to 6,000 people. Then, of course, they have a legal system. Okay, one of the citizen duties was to participate in the running of the legal system. All citizens over 30 were expected to volunteer for jury service, just like we have even now in the United States. You have jury duty, and you have to go no matter what, and you have to go and serve as a jury in any trial that is going on. That we got it from the Greeks. Around that time, jurors were paid to compensate them for any loss of earnings. Even now, I think they are paid. When you serve jury duty, I think you are paid for the day. I'm not sure, but I think you get an allowance. There were no professional judges, lawyer or legal officials. The Athenians tried to make their courts fair and unbiased. Each court had a jury of over 200 people, of course men, because remember, women did not have the right to participate in any form of government or vote. To ensure that jurors could not be bribed or intimidated, that's why they have so many people. In other words, they have the assembly, they have the council, and they have the legal system. And remember, before that, they have all these local form of government, of organization, let's say, in the community, that was how they were, they would guarantee that the representation of the people. But was it a true democracy? There were two types of people in the polis. The polis were, remember, the city-state. There were free people and slaves. But also there were citizens and metics. The citizens were free men born to Athenians, but the metics were born outside Athens, and they have no say in the government, no right whatsoever. And of course, the women have no rights. So if you think about this, okay, yes, we have the first sign, the first structure of democracy, because uh, people were able to express their rights, but not everybody had the same right. So that's a question that we should ask ourselves. Was that a true democracy? That's why now the concept of democracy is so ambiguous in today's world. We have some countries that they call themselves democratic. However, do they guarantee the rights of everybody? Even a few hundred years ago, we have a black people that they couldn't vote in the United States and in some other countries, like in South Africa, for example. So was that a true democracy? Things have changed, but still now in some countries we have not the same right for everybody. And that's why we have to study how the impact of democracy of the ancient Greece we can observe and we can see what's going on today. Now let's discuss the concept of democracy. We're going to go to our weekly lesson number 5A, and then we're going to work on task 5A. Thank you very much.